Hello ladies and gentlemen, today we will get started on our pinch pot animals. These animals will have really big mouths, so you'll want to think of your design and look at your sketch as you're working with the clay. What you'll probably want to do to start off with is roll your clay into a ball, and I'm just patting the corners and smoothing it out. The tools you will need are a clay mat. You can either use an orange mat that looks like this, they're pretty messy, or a piece of paper works as well. It keeps the clay from sticking to the table, and it can just be thrown out at the end of the day. What you'll do is you'll start with, I'm going to break this apart actually. I want to save part of my clay for the detail. So I'll start with the mouth, and to make a pinch pot, what you do is you stick your thumb in the center, and then you slowly start pinching and squeezing your thumb and fingers together. What I don't want to do is bend the clay and stretch it out because that will cause it to crack. So I'm just pinching around, and that will give you the mouth of your creature. Depending on what shape you want for the body, you can shape that how you want it, and also the mouth how you want it as well. My creature is going to sit like this with its mouth up, and I'm going to make what should I make? I should have thought about this beforehand, which is what you need to do too. I'll make a tiger. For the detail, think of what details your animal has. I'm going to add on arms, probably, but I'm going to start with the facial features on the face. So in order to add detail, what you want to do is take pieces of clay, and you'll actually score and slip them on and attach them onto the piece you already have. So in order to make the ears, I'm going to squeeze the clay, and I can cut it as well to the shape that I want. And I want to make 2 ears that are the same. The easiest way to do that is before you attach the ears, make both of them. I'm going to trim this around to make the 2 ears. Now, whenever you want to attach clay to clay, you cannot just smush it on like this and think that it will stay. If you are attaching a piece of clay onto another piece of clay, what you need to do is something called scoring and slipping. Scoring means that you're creating little marks in the clay on both pieces. You're increasing the surface area. I can either poke little holes or just create a crisscross like this so that it roughs up the clay, and on the other piece as well. The wooden stylus is the main tool that you'll be using to attach your pieces of clay. So just rough up the ends that are going to come together. Then what I'll do is take my cup of water that's less than halfway full, and you'll dip your finger in the water and just drip a few drops on your pieces of clay, and you'll press them on really carefully. You don't want to smush the clay, but you do want to blend it on, and you can use your finger to blend the pieces together. And just wiggle it on, make sure it squishes on. If I come around and I wiggle your pieces of clay, it's not because I'm trying to destroy your clay. It is because I want to make sure it's going to survive in the kiln. This is called additive sculpture. That's detail that you add on to your piece of clay that you have. So here's my additive sculpture that I'll add on. And some other additive sculpture I need would be a nose. And if the detail on your sculpture actually comes off of your animal, the ears actually pop off of the animal's head. Noses usually pop off of the animal's head. So you'll need to use additive sculpture for those details. So I'm going to make the nose. Oops, I'm going to score first. And then slip. The slip is really soggy, wet clay. It's kind of like clay water, and that's what really holds your piece together. So now I have my nose, which is a triangle shape. And if I want him smiling more, I can move the clay and make him smiling. That's the nice thing about clay, is that if something's not working out for you, you can either smooth it back out and restart, or fix it just by moving your fingers around and blending it. So there is I have my ears and my nose. When you get to the eyes, what I like to do is figure out where you want the eyes to be, and then create eye sockets by pressing in the clay. It's going to look like your animal has no eyes. But when you do that, then you can roll 2 balls of clay that are the same size. Maybe I'll use this one. And what you'll do is score and slip the balls of clay right inside of the eye socket by scoring and slipping. Dripping the water. I'm starting to add a little bit too much water, which makes it really difficult to work with because the clay gets very soggy. So be careful not to add too much water. So now I'm going to score and slip my eyes into the eye socket. And if you're careful, you can maintain that circular shape. And then you can carve the pupil, which would be the black part, and that's achieved by carving a hole deep. Do you see how it looks black? That's because I carved into the clay, so it has a shadow. In order for this to really look like a cat or an animal or a tiger or something, I need to create some teeth. And you'll want to think about all the possible details you can add. So if I would score and slip this in, but I can see how it would look. Think of as much detail as you can and add it on with the clay. The other thing you can do as well is add texture by carving into the clay. By carving the holes for the eyes, that was subtractive sculpture. I could carve detail into the ears by carving the clay out and subtracting from it. I could also carve whiskers if I wanted to. I would need a finer tool to do that. Or you could carve stripes, maybe on the back of the head. By carving details in, it will make your creature look more realistic as well. The goal is to create this clay animal with skill and craftsmanship, starting with a pinch pot and then adding additive and subtractive detail.